Today we've come back to a place we've been a few times before. Julie's been doing a bit more research, so she's got loads of really cool stories and interesting facts about this place. This is us back at St Conans Kirk. Douglas Campbell that built this place, he actually built it for his mum. His mum was getting old and kind of infirm, and they lived in 𝕮𝖕𝖕𝖓𝖘, which is an island just a little bit down there. The nearest church at the time was in 𝕬𝖈𝖕, which is way up that glen over there. So it was a bit too far for his mum to travel to church, and being that she was old and rather infirm, he decided to build her one. So he built this place. And I say it's just a few miles, in fact, about a mile from 𝕮𝖕𝖕𝖓, which I say is just down the coast of the loch. Obviously, being that he was building it for his mum, he spared no expense and brought in bits and pieces from various churches and chapels and monasteries, like, things like Iona, places like that. He's actually from the kind of central belt area, down where Glasgow Airport is now. I believe there's a St Mary's chapel that's now currently a runway. When it was being taken down, they took some of the windows and the such like from that place and used them here. I think that might be where the one in the Bruce chapel came from. I'll need to check with Julie. But this place is just a mishmash of various other styles and components from other chapels and churches. But it's quite cool.
Here is a beautiful Celtic cross in memoriam to Caroline, with the ship that signifies the Campbell clan and her name in Gaelic at the bottom.
The amount of detail in this place is ridiculous. The amount of time and money that must have been spent to build it. Another sundial, which is not the most useful thing in Scotland, oddly enough.
This is the back entrance to the church. Quite an impressive arch, and it's actually a replica of the one at St Orans Chapel on Iona, which we visited.
This place is called St Conans Kirk, and that is St Conan. Well, it's not St Conan, it's a statue of St Conan. What are you looking at? It's an effigy of St Conan. Yeah.
Quite reminiscent of Paisley Abbey. We have gargoyles on the outside of the building. This one represents a dog, though I think it's more of a hippopotamus. If we go over to the end here, we also have some hares, obviously depicting a hunting scene. The Saxon Tower is a copy of one at Durham Cathedral. There are ferns, which are a pagan depiction, and also a Roman addition on the top. We're now in the cloister of the church, and up here we have some very interesting steps, and they don't go anywhere, so we're going to have a look at them now. This tower with the steps going up to it is actually a water tower. The altar boys had to pump air in to drive the organ with bellows. The tower contains water and it was fed by 𝕮𝖕𝖕, the water coming off the mountain. Basically, very early hydropower.
There's one other interesting thing about this place is all the woodwork in the cloister and a lot of it throughout the church actually came from the naval ship, the Duke of Wellington, and another one was the Caledonia. The Duke of Wellington is quite a special boat. It's the first ship ever to be renamed on the day of its launch, because the day it was due to be launched, the Duke of Wellington died. So they renamed the ship that day to the Duke of Wellington. Duke of Wellington also was taken back out of the water the day it was launched and had a steam engine fitted. And it was one of the first naval steam engine naval boats. It was also the biggest at the time.
This is the window of the Bruce Chapel. We will go into the Bruce Chapel at some stage, but this was actually from St Mary's Chapel. It sat on what is now the runway of Glasgow Airport, and when the chapel came down in 1912, Campbell bought the window and brought it here for Robert the Bruce. This tower on the back of the church houses the wee man's house, just in that little window there. It's called Daniel's Tower. Each room in the tower is very, very small, but it was usable. The back of the church is absolutely stunning. The church isn't built in one particular style, it's more amalgamation of everything. This is a window from Iona, which Walter Campbell bought and fitted here in the church.
I don't know if Julie mentioned this or not, but these arches, they were going to be windows. But when Douglas Campbell died and his sister effectively stopped the completion of the building, they basically down tools and left them bricked up. But they should be arched windows. And I don't think they came from Iona, but I think they're meant to look like they came from Iona. You know, they got them from somewhere interesting anyway, like everything else in here. Douglas Campbell liked to collect things from other churches and places that have been knocked down or ruined and incorporate them into this building, which is why it's just so unique.
We're now stepping down into one of the beautiful little private chapels, and there's a very interesting ante-room of it. Well, ante-hatch, we shall go in and see. Okay, so Daniel's Chapel is 4 foot by 4 foot. It was said to contain St Fillan's bones, but I think Mr Campbell was just finding somewhere quiet where he could do his writing. It is very nicely detailed and very cute. This is an effigy of Walter Campbell, the founder of the church. If we look up the church, there's a little diamond-shaped window there. That window receives the first light of the morning and reflects the light down on the recumbent Campbell. We also have another little window up on the side here, and this gets the afternoon light. Walter Campbell was quite a character. He wrote kids' books, he was a joker, he was a singer, He was a Tory, but not an acting Tory. He used to frustrate people by telling jokes and singing when Parliament was in session, so he probably wasn't that popular. It's worth noting that the Duke of Argyll did visit here and was really quite derogatory about this church, and really had a loss why. It's absolutely stunning. I think it was probably more to do with the fact that the Duke of Argyll and Walter's sister had a falling out, and he thought the church was a mishmash. Very impressive mishmash. Walter also performed his plays and his entertainment for Queen Victoria at Balmoral. The Friends of St Conans Kirk also donated £2,000 towards the refurbishment of the church. There's been a lot of work done on the stained glass windows. They are absolutely stunning, and the sun's shining through so we can't see anything. This window is Princess Louise's work. You can clearly see the coat of arms at the bottom. It's done in bronze with oils. This is Gabriel, the writing tablet. Muslim also venerate Gabriel, as he is said to have written parts of the Quran. There's a lot of significance with this window as well. We have cherubs at the top and serpents at the bottom. In the centre at the top is the everlasting fire. We have at the top here more cherubs or angels, signifying the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. This is obviously of the arts and crafts movement. We have this chap in the middle with the cross of St Andrew on his chest. We also have the Bell of Truth. This is the effigy of Robert the Bruce. 3 weeks of polishing and £5,000 have brought him to this magnificent state he is in now. The detail is outstanding. We can even see his sword. This was entered into the Royal Architectural Exhibition in 1896. You can kind of see why. He's made of oak and alabaster. Robert the Bruce's body had been lost during the Reformation with the ransacking at Dunfermline. His tomb was destroyed. In 1818, the restoration of the abbey began, and in the nave they found remains clothed in lead with a crown and the cloth of the Field of Gold. In 1819, they reopened the lead casket and took 150 pages of notes of the details of the bones. They presumed he was 5'11" tall, which is pretty enormous for the time. He had developed quite strong shoulder muscles from carrying heavy swords, and the bones also had the rib cage damage because obviously his heart had been removed upon death and taken to the Holy Land. The bones were put back into the lead casket, but obviously a few wee bits and pieces were removed as souvenirs. We do have a little box that's suspected to be part of his foot bone. Peden from Dunfermline had the foot bone of Robert and was intending to give it to Queen Victoria Yeah, he was advised against that, really not in good taste. So it was given to Walter Campbell, as he was a friend of the family.
This is the far end of the chapel. Just below this end, that is the crypt down there. Didn't get into it this time, but we've got some footage from the last time we were here, and we did get access to the crypt. Nothing spectacular in it, but we'll stick that footage in now.
Walter Douglas was told that this crypt structure wasn't strong enough, so he built a scale model and put a steamroller over it to prove them wrong. He proved them wrong. The plan for this crypt is to maybe have a stage here and have it for dramatic reproductions, which obviously with Walter Campbell's background I think he would be quite happy with. There weren't any burials here. There's not a churchyard as such, so there's never been any bodies down here, which is good. You can just make out the outline of an older building. This is presumed to be the old St Fillan's Chapel, and right down on the floor, that's my knees crunching, there's a little box. It hasn't been investigated yet, but we're wondering if some of the saints' bones might be here. Walter Campbell is housed in St Bride's Chapel, and beside it there's St Conans Kirk. Again, I think the money spent on the gates was worth it. The gates were funded by the Ironmongers Company. They cost £5,000 each. The Idlewild Trust also gave money towards the refurb, as did Argyll Wind Farm.
No, we're not having a cat.
No, because when you see them, we'll find you after.